Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We are all George. In this stream, I want to talk about the ultimate Bitcoin hodler or holder. And I think you guys know who he is, Michael Saylor. I want to bring up his latest purchase and show you his conviction, how much he believes in Bitcoin, because it is wrecking him in a way, sort of. And I'm going to suggest something that he does in the future, not that he'll do it or listen to me, but I think it is something that he should be thinking about. So in this stream, let's talk about Michael Saylor, let's talk about Microstrategy, let's talk about Bitcoin, and I have a whole bunch of crypto news for you guys. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes I'm preparing, maybe a little late, but that's why you need to hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you get triple notified and you'll never miss any of my streams. All right, let's do this. Let's get started. Those of you guys already in the chat, welcome. Let me change my screen. You know, something that's weird, because I was chatting with some of you guys and one of my comments says it was deleted by Google moderation team and I wasn't even saying anything. It's kind of weird that happened. I've seen that before, but not when it happens to me. I haven't seen that before. Anyways, so switching my screen here, 47,600. So earlier today we went up to about 48.7 and then became a resistance and came back down, looking like we're still trying to come up. But we're in this weird range right now between I guess 52,000 and let's say 45,000. Kind of like going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Yesterday, I did, I think, 3 videos talking about Fed Chairman Powell and what he stated. So I'll go ahead and just give you guys a refresher on that. And then let me talk about Michael Saylor. So yesterday, all eyes were on Fed Chairman Powell, and the market tanked because of what he said. And today is okay, except tech stocks is getting destroyed, and same thing with Bitcoin, and same thing with a lot of other high flying stocks. So why is that? Well, it's because the repo market is getting destroyed. Bonds are not being bought, which is why interest rates on the bonds given is going up. So basically, Powell says that inflation is happening, and it's quite okay. It's temporary. When the economy comes back, it's gonna be fine, and inflation will just kind of die down, and things will okay. His purchasing of corporate bonds is gonna stay steady at 120 billion per month, and you know what? He says the banks, they don't want any more. This is enough, and I'm going to keep interest rates low, right? So I think a lot of people, especially Wall Street guys, they didn't really like that. They wanted him to be more aggressive, which is why there was a sell-off, and I believe that's why Bitcoin pulled back a little bit yesterday. Now, there are questions whether or not there's some kind of manipulation going on, because it's kind of weird. Right when I posted a video yesterday, right like minutes afterwards, Bitcoin tanked like 1,000 points. So maybe there is some manipulation that's still going on. Is it from our friends at F2 Pool, or is it someone else? The rumors about some whales that is trying to play the market. Don't know at this point, but looking at F2 Pool, it seems like it's pretty quiet right now. All things considering, I mean, the massive outflows have decreased. Have decreased quite a bit. So I don't see anything right now. I mean, obviously, this is still much higher volume than before, so there could be something else to it. I mentioned about 50,000 being like a critical point. For some reason, there seems to be a lot of attention at 50,000 to try to keep it there, right? Don't know what it is right now. F2 Pool is still outflowing, but not massively. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, what exactly is going on. But ultimately, we know if you're practicing hodling, dollar cost averaging, then you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. All right. So let's get to Microstrategy. Let's get to Michael Saylor. And you know what? I got to kick out my dog because he's barking. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. All right. So let's talk about MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. So he has been buying Bitcoin like crazy. He's been dollar cost averaging, and he just announced he purchased another $10 million worth of Bitcoin, 205 Bitcoins. Average price at 48,888, which is obviously higher than it is now. He purchased right at this point, basically, right? A resistance. But, you know, with Michael Saylor, he's always said that he's not a trader. He's a holder. He just wants to buy and buy and buy and buy. It doesn't really matter. If he sees a dip, he will take advantage. So he bought some at 43,000. Obviously, he bought a huge amount at 52,000, and he continues to do so. Now, someone did come up with this spreadsheet, basically all his buys. Now, obviously, when you dollar cost average, his average price is at 24,000. So he is not concerned at this point. But you could see his last three purchases are kind of high, right? 53,000. Okay, I was wrong. I thought it was 43,000. No, it's 46,000 and 49,000. And you can see on a couple of these, obviously he is down, especially the $1 billion one that he has purchased, down almost 10%. Now, why is this hurting him? Because some people will say, well, it's not really hurting him. You could see that he is in the green by $2 billion. So there's no concerns there, right? But here's the thing. If you look at what's been going on with stocks, MicroStrategy has been hammered, like really, really hammered. And not just MicroStrategy, anyone that's involved with Bitcoin right now is hammered. Even beloved Tesla, which seems like it has no top and it keeps going. They have been struggling hard, falling from 800 something down to $566. Look at a mining company, Riot, which was at 60 something dollars. 52 something just a week ago has fallen $36, 17%. And if you look at MSTR, MicroStrategy, you know what? If this comes up, they are down to $600. They were peaked out at like 800. So right now, he is being tested. Those of you guys that look at your portfolio and you look at, you know, your losses right now, or paper losses, not real losses. You don't see real losses unless you actually sell. But, I mean, he is being tested. His market cap of his company is coming down hard right now because there seems to be a group of people that really do not want Bitcoin to go up. So they're shorting basically every single company that's associated with Bitcoin, trying to keep it down. But you know what? Michael Saylor's like, I don't care. I know Bitcoin is going to go much higher. I'm going to continue to do my thing. I'm going to sit here and look pretty, and I'm just going to keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And now MicroStrategy owns 91,000 Bitcoins. He's really trying to get that 100,000 Bitcoins, right? So kind of shows you this is the conviction that he has. This is the conviction that we should all strive for, you know, to basically not fall for the manipulation. Don't fall for day-to-day stuff. Make sure that you are holding. You're holding or hodling, right? You're not panic selling, and you're taking advantage of the dips when you can. And your dollar cost averaging over a long haul. So I think this is a really good example, because when things were going up like crazy, when Michael started buying Bitcoin at like 10,000, 20,000, it's really easy because Bitcoin is flying up. His stock is flying up. He's not really being tested. Now it's a different story. His $1 billion Bitcoin is down 10%, and even this latest purchase is down too. His stock is getting hammered right now. So he is being tested, and it looks like he's passing with flying colors. But this is something that we should strive for, right? To have strong hands, diamond hands like Michael Saylor. All right, so moving on. What else is there? Well, all these stocks are getting hammered, right? My theory is that we will see another big company that's going to come in and basically buy Bitcoin. Tim Draper thinks it's going to be Apple. I think it could be Oracle. It could be Amazon. But I do think that to stop the Wall Street shorters, the ones that are trying to hammer these stocks. I think they're going to get crushed when the next big company comes in and declares they're putting a ton of Bitcoin into a ton of cash into Bitcoin. So that could be right around the corner. These guys, they're trying to time it. They're trying to take advantage when things are low. And right now, it's a pretty good opportunity before Bitcoin makes next leg up. Now, what else is there? Oh, this talks about MicroStrategy. Their stock down 50% in 17 days. That's not good. All right. Now, for technical people, a lot of technical people, they're looking at one indicator, and that is the 21-week simple moving average. So this is what it looked like in 2000. If I could get this up. No, I don't want to click into it. Okay, so you guys will have to live with this. Well, this is what it looked like in 2017. Actually, 2016 all the way to 2018. But this shows you the run from 2017. And just keep going higher and higher. And even though there's 30% dips, it would hit that 21 weekly SMA. And it kept going until it didn't. And when it broke, that's when people declared the top was in and that the bull run was over. And I was right. And it kept going down. Right now, this is what it looks like. I mean, it just keeps going up and up. And we haven't even really seen such a dip that it actually even touched the 21 line. So kind of shows you that reinforces that we're nowhere close of topping out. And let me show you guys in real time here. So I'm just curious what it is at. So the yellow line is that 21 SMA, and this is the 2017 run. You could see all these red dips. They were about 30-40% dips, so perfectly natural. Right now, you know, look at how far we are ahead. we haven't even, you know, we broke through it when we fell down to about 3,800 in March of 2020. We came up, V-shaped recovery, and we never went below again. The last time we hit it was back in October when Bitcoin was at 10,000. It fell from basically 14,000 down to 10,000. And since then, we've been climbing higher and higher and higher. And we haven't even touched it. We're nowhere close to it. But looking at where it is now, it is right around $30,000. So that is the point that we're looking at. And all these traders, from a macro perspective, if they're looking at a broader picture, they're looking at whether or not Bitcoin is going to touch that or break below or utilize that as support and break higher. So that's why a lot of traders are still like very antsy and worried that we can see something like that happen. But this 21 EMA or SMA, I should say, it keeps going higher. As Bitcoin keeps going higher, this keeps going higher. And it takes a while because this is the weekly average. But that's also very, very positive for Bitcoin right now. We're like nowhere close to that. We're nowhere close to that. So this also shows there's plenty of room to grow. But my personal feeling is that once we do hit a peak, right, we can have a small dip, but I don't see us going down. I don't see us going down 85% or 86%. With all these institutions that's buying Bitcoin, I just don't see them all dumping like retail investors have weak hands, institutional investors have strong hands. So I just don't see that. I think we could be in a super cycle where after we peak out like this, we go down a little bit and just kind of hover and then just go right back up towards the next halving event. So yeah, those of you guys that care about technicals. What else is there? Well, it seems like Vitalik, he's moving forward. It doesn't matter. What the miners say at this point. He is going to move forward with EIP 1559. And this is very radical, very different. And the miners hate it. I don't know what's going to happen because this is set to go live in July. There might be another fork of Ethereum if the miners does not agree. And a large majority of them do not. And the reason being, right now, with the fluctuating gas fees, basically the miners are killing it right now. The miners are killing it because you're basically paying the miners to process the transactions. So what's going to happen is after this, Vitalik is going to make Ethereum basically process gas differently. You're paying you're paying basically the network rather than miners. And the miners get like tipped from it. I don't know what that means exactly, but the miners are set to make a lot less, a lot less. They're getting tipped, and majority of that is going to the network, and because of that, the network can control things better. They will look at congestion and set a certain rate. So dApp makers love this because it's easier to predict how much it's going to cost at any given time to have a transaction. And also what's great about this is it adds deflationary aspects to Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum is inflationary. There's like 7 or 8% more ETH that's minted every year. With this, because it's going to the network, Vitalik is proposing that a lot of the ETH that gets used will actually be burned. So it will counteract inflation. I don't know about completely, but maybe just a small amount. But there is going to be deflationary aspects built into this too. So Vitalik is like, I'm doing this. I'm going to schedule this with the next fork in July. Whether it's July or August, it might be pushed back a little bit. He's like, I'm doing this. But a large majority of miners do not like this. And some of you guys may be mining Ethereum. So you could, I'm hearing from a lot of ETH miners that they're killing it right now. They're killing it. So that might change. That might change after this. And this could be a positive for, I guess, Ethereum Classic, because a lot of people, at least before, asked me about Ethereum Classic. They really have no move. They don't have, I don't know what their future is, but once Ethereum truly moves to proof of stake, then all these miners can move to Ethereum Classic. But some of these pissed off Ethereum miners, maybe they will fork, or maybe they'll just move to Ethereum Classic right now. This is also part of the plan, I believe, for Vitalik to get people prepared for ETH 2.0, because it's really hard to convince the miners to stop mining and stake instead, right, when they're profiting so much. So Ethereum has something called a difficulty bomb, which makes difficulty increase exponentially. But this also, I think, helps tremendously. So this could be part of his grand plan, and we'll see how it is afterwards in July. Whether or not there's another Ethereum fork, Ethereum Cash or something else. All right, so moving forward, Binance pledges new controls after 99% flash crash in Polkadot futures. So this is futures, this is leverage. Those of you guys that were long on Polkadot futures leverage, you would have got wrecked. It went from $33 down to 25 cents in less than a minute. So you would have been absolutely wrecked. However, actually, I don't know if that's true, because this may be using their spot market prices, but nevertheless, this happened. So Binance pledges that this won't happen again. Basically, you have one single whale that decided to do this, and he had so much Polkadot, he was able to cause this to happen. So we see this all the time now, so that's why we need to be careful. That's why don't overinvest. Never invest more than what you can afford to lose. Never use leverage or futures if you have no idea what you're doing, right? Because you could get burned really badly. J Money says, if does move forward, the okay, overwhelming hash power disapproving this proposal. Don't talk to me about decentralization and ETH. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I found this article, and you guys know how I feel about Litecoin, but I'm just gonna say this headline is said by no one ever. I don't think anyone compares Charlie Lee to Elon Musk, but I don't know how this came to be, but this is one big shill piece on Charlie and Litecoin, but I thought it was very funny to when I saw that. All right, anyways, moving on. I think that's pretty much it. Overall crypto market cap, Bitcoin dominance is at 60.7%, so it's holding there. In terms of the alts are holding relatively steady with Bitcoin. ETH is still holding 11.7%. Bitcoin is coming up to 48,000 again, which is great. All right, so before I get into Q&A, I do have a new sponsor today. Some of you guys have heard of this project before, have asked me about it, and they are Yield app. So basically, they're promising new financial app or financial system that allows you to basically stake and get rewarded for it. So it's very much like some of the other products that you have heard of before, such as BlockFi or Nexo, financial apps like that. They are still working on their apps, but their website is done right now. So if you look at yield, kind of interesting. They do have significant funding. They didn't just raise all their money through their ICO. They actually did raise close to $5 million. So they definitely do have bank to continue to execute. Like I said, they're relatively small. But if you look at, say, their interest, those of you guys that actually do stake, let's say with, BlockFi or Nexo or something like that, you could actually get bonus rewards. So I didn't understand at first. So you could see this. This is usual stuff, like stable coins usually get like 10%. So USDC, USDT, they're usually 10%. But they have something where if you're holding yield, they're giving an advantage, another bonus by just holding on yield. So that way, if you add it together, you can get like a 20%. So this kind of shows you if you're holding 0 to 5,000 yield in your yield wallet, then you get a bonus of 2%. If you're holding 20,000 plus, then you're getting 10 plus plan, right? So you're getting 20%. So that's how they're doing it, because I didn't quite understand how you could get a bonus, but basically they're creating incentive to hold yield tokens, right? And they just opened up Ethereum staking, and this is actually really big, 10%, and they just came out with a whole blog, like a PR thing, saying up to 20% is the same thing, because you could add your bonus. If you're holding on yield, then you get 10 plus 10 equals 20. But ETH for 10 is enormous. Like if you look at some of the other players like Nexo or BlockFi, they're like 5%. So yield is giving a ton more with Ethereum, which is pretty darn impressive, right? And if you go through here, basically their staking is not even staking. As long as you're holding the app, you get it. It doesn't lock you in or anything like that. And yeah, no deposit fees, invest your way. They're licensed and regulated. So overall, this seems like a pretty promising app. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so. Their links is in the description of this video. All right, so now let's do some Q&A. Riverrune, only got on YouTube for your streams. I appreciate that. Been been interested in VET. Know you're a fan of them. Do you have a price prediction for this year, 3 years from now? I think when China opens up crypto, I think they're gonna be huge. I made this comment yesterday, and I really mean it. If you look at the amount of partnerships and traction that VET has already, it's already way more than any other blockchain that exists. A lot more. Ethereum would be happy to have the number of true partnerships that VeChain has already. And Ethereum is at, 10 times or 20 times bigger than they are. So their potential is huge. But right now, I think they're held back because of China being anti-crypto at this point, not allowing exchanges to operate, not allowing citizens to buy and sell crypto. So it's really hard for them to actually gain traction because of it. But I think once China opens up, they're going to be huge. James asks, hey George, 2Flow question. Does the super low circulating supply versus max supply worry you on future gains? Do you think Flow would inevitably be listed on Binance and get a major pump? Yes, I think they will. I think they're purposely not being listed on big exchanges on purpose, because they want to keep somewhat steady. Yes and no. So low circulating supply versus max supply is a worry for traditional projects, but I know you're asking that question because someone like Flow or NTF players, they have an enormous amount of circulating supply or total supply. And that's because they're reserving them for NFTs. You got to realize every NFT is supposed to be a unique token. So for an NFT project maker to be able to kind of project like, okay, 5 years, 10 years, how many NFTs are we going to be spawning, right? That's why they need a huge amount of supply out there. So that's the thing. It really depends on the market. If there's enough demand, people are buying, these NFTs and buying the tokens overall, things will continue to go up, right? So that's the difference between, say, NFT projects versus like a normal project, where if you look at, let's say, the circuit supply is very low versus total supply, that's where it makes a big difference. So hopefully that makes sense. BitBoy didn't finish the stream before you started. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he changed a couple times. He used to be like 10:30, So I've always been at 11. I shouldn't say that. I was at 11, moved to 10:30. I moved to 11 because 11 seems to do better for me. So I don't know how long the stream is. Sometimes it cuts into mine, but I'm trying not to compete with his stream, but yeah. Thoughts on Paid Network? They're trying to bring smart contracts to the real world. Yeah, I think they're like they help businesses. Yeah, they help businesses like to do business things, to resolve disputes, to do business contracts and stuff like that. I mean, it's an okay idea. That's not very interesting to me. So they could definitely do well, but it's not something that's very, I guess, popular at this point. Thoughts on all of Tezos? I don't hear much about Tezos these days. I hear a lot more about like Elrond, a lot more about Solana, a lot more about Cosmos. I don't hear much about Tezos at all. Rich Buddy, why is Bake being clobbered? Well, all the AMMs are. Sushi is not doing very well, even though I thought it would be doing better. What is it? Pancake Swap isn't doing too well. I mean, because right now it seems like the DeFi market is cooling off a little bit because of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin gets hotter, I think they'll all go come back in a big way. CRU mainnet, March 25th. Do you think it's going to compete with BNB? Maybe, but I don't know. Crypto.com ain't Bitcoin. I mean, it ain't Binance. Binance got a lot of chains running on top of it. And Binance has a whole bunch of stuff going on. So it'll be interesting to see like who actually decides to utilize it, or it's just theirs. I don't know if they'll use it for running their own stuff. But they've been doing very well. Any reason why Hollow is pumping today? Did FCA ban crypto in UK, or did they just ban Bybit in UK? I did hear about that. I don't know. I think it's the entire UK. So it's not just, it's not just Bybit. There's something going on in the UK, so Bybit doesn't operate in the UK anymore. I don't know what new law that came out. BSC pad. Relatively small. Next evolution, blockchain launchpad solving fundamental flaws that plague existing launchpads. I don't know what that means, but they're a launchpad of some sorts. I don't know how they solve problems. Yeah, I mean, they're pancake swap only, so that's go hinder them for a little bit. The first decentralized IDO platform of Binance Smart Chain Network. Okay. Yeah, so it's a project that helps projects launch. It's a launchpad product, but it's on Binance Smart Chain. I don't think that's go pump, honestly. There's a lot of projects like that. Polkastarter is another one that's like that. A lot of people ask about, but these projects don't tend to pump. Vakishna, I think that's how you say it. Apologize if I butchered that. Rich Buddy again, thank you. Phil, thank you. What else is there? What are your opinions on the negative Grayscale Premium? I thought about it, Two thoughts on why I think it's negative. One is I got done saying that any company that's associated with Bitcoin is getting destroyed right now. I think it's because there's like a there is like some kind of group out there that really wants to keep Bitcoin down and make it look bad. That's why every single company, publicly traded company that has exposure to Bitcoin has been clobbered for the last week or so, even though Bitcoin itself didn't get clobbered, but anything that it relates. So Grayscale Trust also relates to that, right? I do think a lot of people that buy Grayscale Trust also are weaker. They don't have the same conviction as Bitcoin holders. So that could be part of it. And also the other reason that a lot of people mentioned is you have a Bitcoin ETF now. The one from, I forgot who they are. Pronouns or something from Canada. US citizens can buy that now. And people trust ETFs a little bit more than Bitcoin Trust, let's just say. So that could also be a big attributing factor that institutional investors are buying. They'll just buy Bitcoin ETF rather than Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. But some people are saying that that negative premium also is very positive. It'll spur a lot of newcomers into the space and drive things even higher. So I think it's maybe a combination of everything I said. August, do you think any project under DOT ecosystem will do well? Yeah, I mean, if DOT is doing well, there will be projects under DOT that will do well too. But right now, it doesn't seem like a lot of projects on Polkadot is pumping right now. Like, there's a whole bunch of people that keep shilling Reef, and Reef has not done anything. There's a lot that hasn't moved yet, but it'll get there. It'll get there. Johnny Happy. I guess you're one of the people that asked this question, right? Any thoughts on Bitcoin dropping to 40K then to the moon? I mean, there was plenty of opportunity to do so, and it didn't hit it. Can it happen? Sure. Will it go to the moon? Sure. Well, is it dependent that it goes to 40K then to the moon? No. It'll go to the moon no matter what. So it doesn't matter what it's doing. If there's opportunity to buy, if there's a discount, take advantage of it when you can. You just don't know. You don't know top or bottom, right? A lot of traders pretend like they do. They'll spew out a lot of stuff and say, "Hey, look at me! I made so much," but they don't tell you the flip side of that. So it's really, really hard to win in this game. But the one proven strategy has just been dollar cost averaging and hodling. And that's what Michael Saylor is doing. He is showing his conviction. Like, it is really, really tough right now, especially when you see your stock getting hammered by Wall Street every time you make a Bitcoin purchase. But he's doing it. He doesn't care. Obviously, he's still in the green, but still, there's more pressure now than before. And he's like, no, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to keep going and going and going. Ivan asks, is there any way to know how much BTC is owned by individuals versus corporate? No. I mean, with this list, this is 1.3 million Bitcoins, but there's a lot of companies that don't tell you that they have Bitcoin. So there's really no way to know. I mean, you could look at the average breakdown, Bitcoin rich list, and see like how many is being, I guess a number in an address kind of tell you if they're a whale or institution or not. Maybe you could look at that, but you don't know 100%. And a lot of this is held by cold wallets, held by exchanges. But just know that if you hold anywhere from 0.1 to 1 Bitcoin, you make up. Ooh, that's a lot already. You make up like, what is it? 98% of the addresses. Yeah, 98% of addresses is between 0 and 1. Or 97% addresses. There's only like 2% of addresses that hold from 1 all the way to 1 million. So there's not that many addresses that hold that many Bitcoins. And you can look at this. Address is richer than if you hold if you hold, let's say, 10,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, there's only 2 million addresses that's richer than you. And keep in mind, a lot of that is just wallets just distributed, from exchanges or from rich whales. So the number of people is actually a lot less than that. So if you hold 100,000 or more, there's only 415,000. And a million or more, only 93,000. 10 million or more, only 8,000. So I don't know. That helps you. Celsius or BlockFi? I haven't used either, so I can't really comment. I'm supposed to do something with BlockFi, not certified yet, but I haven't used either platform yet. Do you think VET is a good buy? Can it 10x this cycle? Yes, it can 10x for this cycle because I don't think Bitcoin is stopping anytime soon. Bitcoin cycle is going 10x. If Bitcoin's going 10x, a lot of these altcoins will go much higher than 10x, and I think VeChain is one of them. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll let you guys go. Overall, Bitcoin is coming back, 48,000. See, when I zoom out like this, you don't even really notice these dips, right? It just seems like it's linear. It goes up linearly. But if you zoom in a little bit, then you start kind of seeing it. But if you wanna make life-changing wealth of Bitcoin or any crypto for that matter, you gotta have conviction. You have strong hands, diamond hands, and you take advantage when there are opportunities. It's simple as that. Simple as that. Right now, Bitcoin's above 48,000. Let's see if it can build a momentum. It seems like the broader market is recovering from yesterday's losses, so that's also good. It's helping Bitcoin in a way. But right now, there's still a lot of discounts, a lot of discounts. So yeah. And I think we should all mimic Michael Saylor as much as possible at this point. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for my stream tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and check out my Patreon and Teachable for extra content. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.